Welcome. Welcome to our 6-week study on Paul's letter to the Philippians. Paul loved the Philippians. They were his special church, his special people. They were his beloved, his crown and his joy. Paul finds himself in prison in Rome under house arrest. He yearns and longs to be with the Philippians. He wants to be face to face and to tell them what's on his heart, but he can't. He's lonely, he's confined. And so he writes this final letter to his beloved Philippians. And in the final letter, Paul shares his heart with them. He shares with the Philippians those things that he would want to tell them face to face. It's like a father sharing his last words to his children before he departs. Paul doesn't know if he'll ever see the Philippians again. So this is his last letter that he sends to them. In the first chapter, Paul shares with how much he loves the Philippians and how he longs for them, how he has the affections of Christ and they are partners in the gospel and partners in grace. And then he shares his prayer, his hope for the Philippians. He prays that their love for God would increase in wisdom and in knowledge. Paul wanted more than anything for his people, his spiritual children, to love God more deeply and to have that knowledge of God, that love of God, grounded in knowledge and wisdom and insight. And Paul prayed that if they could increase their love of God through knowledge and insight, know more about His character and His ways, then they would be in positions to make wise choices, good choices, and they would be filled with the fruit of righteousness. And so Paul yearned that his people would make good choices and that his people would be filled with the fruits of righteousness, that they would be filled with grace and peace and joy and love and patience and faithfulness. He believed that if you could increase your love for God in wisdom and insight and knowledge, then those things would happen. The question is, for us, how does that happen? How do we increase our love for God? For me, there are 3 things. One, it's the Scriptures. Just reflecting and reading on small portions of the Scripture and allowing that to kind of overcome me. Music is another way that really helps. There's something about music that can stir my heart and speak to me in ways that words cannot. And the third thing that really helps me grow in my knowledge of God and thus my love for God is hearing what others have to say, how they understand God, how they understand the Scriptures. And so I challenge you this week to think about that. What's it take? What will it take for your love for God to increase? And Paul's conviction is, if it does, then we'll be in better position to make good choices and we'll be filled with the fruits of righteousness. So have a great week. Check out the Lectio Divina and the Lectio Imago scriptures and look at the questions to ponder. Have a great week. Thank you.